What up, guys? That Comic Awesome here, doing another review, doing Batman number 41. And oh my, Bat and Cat have found themselves in an interesting predicament. So, this to me is like the first real Batman comic in the last couple of issues. Starting I think in like the mid 30s or so. They really had more of the cutesy, the double date stuff with Batman and Superman. There was a little bit of a break in there, but then you had the two issues with Wonder Woman, and now you're at this back to a Batman versus a villain kind of story. Now this book really just sets it up and kind of like tips the iceberg of what kind of is going on, but the impact is pretty massive. So let's kind of jump in. So first you get this kind of like picture of Ivy, and she kind of is like, I imagine in my head as I was reading this, like a kind of like a bubbly girl, like on a first date or something. And she kind of has that like, oh gosh, kind of voice. And she's pretty much like, so she's saying, oh, hello, nice to see you here. How unexpected. I know we met, but just in case, I'm Ivy. And so Batman kind of has this like flash, and he wakes up. And he kind of sees like Selina, and he realizes, it took me a minute here to think that he was just going and to find out what was happening, but I think he notices Selina says, I'm Selina, so he realized whatever was happening to him is happening to her as well. So then you see Alfred, and he kind of is, he's asking, where's, pretty much like, hey, where's your clothes? Master Bruce, you're wandering around the halls in the middle of the night. And so Bruce's response is just to punch him right in the face. So he knocks him out. He kind of staggers into the Batcave, and all the while you kind of, again, Ivy is talking, but it's again like this like bubbly kind of like cutesy girly talk, which again it's kind of fitting, and again in this kind of like the way it's presented is endearing. So Batman is in the Batcave, and he's obviously trying to work on something. Selina comes down, and she's like, hey, what's up? What's funny here is she just says, Bat, I saw Alfred. I mean, you saw like an elderly old man who just got punched in the face, laying on the floor, and you're not the least bit concerned? So that I was like, huh, like you saw an old man just punched on the floor. So then she asks, what's going on? They kind of have this moment, but of course he's like, goes to inject her. She kind of gets a little defensive, but he gets her, he injects himself, and they pass out. And this is what's nice. So the whole time she's kind of like, Ivy is almost like talking, almost very complimentary to us, the reader. You assume it's kind of Batman in his head, and she says, I'm going to say something I shouldn't say, but, I have to say it. I love you. I love you so much. But then you see this. She has control. Like, so everyone is like, I love you too. I love you too. Everyone. Even got Trump saying, I love you too. You have like hosts. You have this gorilla. You have this drunk dude. Pope, Wonder Woman, everyone loves Ivy. She's like, again, and the art in this, it's not Joelle Jones. who did the last 2 issues with Wonder Woman, which was very good. But it kind of has a similar little bit of a feel. Bruce's face to me reminds me of Archer, which isn't bad, kind of billionaire-ish, that squared, jaw. So then they wake up in the morning, and oddly enough, they're both in their costumes, So they went from sleeping, pretty much in their underwear, like normal people, to being asleep in their costumes. I can only imagine that Bruce put them in their costumes and went to bed, which is still weird. Side note, I just realized this. Bruce Wayne is a, billionaire, trillionaire. Him and Selina are sleeping in, a queen-size bed. Come on, Bruce. Upgrade to the king size. So, he wakes up and, he says she's here. Alfred comes in, and you can tell, because he's talking with the green tint, that he's obviously under some sort of control. They have this nice little back and forth. I liked this. Pretty much, Alfred sits here and gives Bruce not like a riddle, but almost like a cautionary tale. He's like, a few years ago, the Joker decided that he could beat Superman. So he took a number of hostages, hid them around the city, each in a lead box, so Superman could not use his X-ray vision to find him. Superman could not find what he couldn't see. The Joker reasoned. Of course, Superman simply scanned the city, saw what he could not see, the only places that were hidden from him, and Superman found the lead boxes, freed the hostage, and the Joker was defeated. I have a feeling that story is going to be a little bit of a parallel and a metaphor of what is to come. So then, again, Bruce goes to punch Alfred again. This is his butler, and whether he is being mind-controlled or not, it is still the body of a fragile old man that he is just willing to punch. So he goes to punch him, and the Flash comes in, and he ends up just punching the Flash instead. And Alfred says, would you like to try it again? There are a few more Flashes available. So that kind of letting you know that Ivy is able to control multiple people, and if need be, she could have another Flash there to block a blow to Alfred. And then you kind of see her. She's in a park. I think it turns out to be Central Park. But she essentially talks about how she is now one with everything. She's now connected to all living things the way she was with the Green. So she says here, I have everyone. They all love me. I feel them, understand each of them as I understand the Green. I control them, all of them, as I control the Green. So Ivy's power has kind of stepped out of now not just controlling plants, but I think she is using plants to now control people. So she's saying, I don't want anything. And this is... that art's pretty badass. I want to skip to... right. No. There it is. So, this will be the last thing I show. But, essentially, Batman, what he injected Selina with and himself was a formula that would prevent her from being able to... prevent her from controlling them. But she says here, should I use Alfred's codes and Cyborg's abilities? And I took a look inside of the Bat computer. I saw the formula, your cure, and it was impressive, especially the use of the this rare dandelion extract. But what it defends against, it cannot cure. And so that formula that was able to prevent them from being controlled could not stop somebody who is already controlled. I think that's an interesting kind of like take. So, and it ends with pretty much, Selena looking at, Bruce and saying, well, what do we do now? And he's like, I don't know. And I think that leaves it in a very interesting spot because, Batman's supposed to be like this cunning and guy who knows everything, and he's at a loss to say like, hey, I don't know what to do. So this was mainly build up, but I think the coming arc is going to be very interesting. So if you didn't pick this one up, I would highly recommend it just to make sure what's coming, that you are kind of getting in on the ground floor of it. So, but yeah, that's what I think. Subscribe over here, watch some more videos, hit me up in the comments, let me know what you guys think, and I will see you next time.